Good evening, my dear believers. Welcome to the Bedtime Priest channel. I am your priest, your night watchman, and your bedtime guide. On this channel, we will delve into stories that are both thrilling and chilling. But fear not, for even as the shadows from the stories roam the night, my voice will be with you, offering comfort and protection. Now, let's dim the lights, snuggle into our warm beds, and embark on tonight's thrilling journey. Are you ready? Let us together step into the world of Bedtime Priest. I never believed in fate until that rainy night at the Old St. Mary's Mental Hospital in Edinburgh. It was an unusually cold autumn in 1993. As I stood in front of the Victorian building, twilight turned the sky a leaden gray, and the building's spires seemed to pierce the gloom. I should have been excited about overseeing the renovation project as the architect, but an inexplicable unease made me hesitate. "Miss Morrison, right this way, please." Mr. Williams, the project manager, greeted me with his umbrella. "I know you've specialized in Victorian medical architecture. You're going to find this place fascinating." Following him through the iron gate, our footsteps crunched on decayed leaves. The rain had darkened the sandstone exterior walls of the building, but its former grandeur was still apparent. "The archives are in the basement." Mr. Williams pointed to a rusty iron door. "All the architectural plans and historical documents are there." However, he paused. "Recently, a few of the surveyors have called in sick, saying they haven't been sleeping well." I smiled. "Don't worry, I don't believe in ghost stories." Dust floated in the air of the archive room as I turned on my flashlight, its beams sweeping through the dense array of file cabinets. Just then, an old leather-bound notebook fell from the top shelf, narrowly missing my head. I opened the notebook to the first page and saw a line of neat handwriting. "March 15th, 1893. Today, I begin a new experiment. If dreams can truly heal the wounds of the soul, then might shared dreaming lead to greater discoveries?" Margaret Weber. My heart suddenly sped up. I recognized this name from my studies of Victorian medical history. She was one of the youngest female doctors of her era, but she mysteriously vanished after an experiment. The journal entries that followed were intriguing. Margaret detailed her collective dream therapy experiments. She believed that with a special device, patients could enter a shared dream space during sleep, helping to heal each other. "You felt it too, didn't you?" A voice suddenly came from behind me, startling me so much that my flashlight fell to the ground. I turned around to see an old man standing in the doorway. He was the janitor, Thomas. "What?" I asked. "That calling." He looked somewhat dazed. "I've worked here for over 50 years, and I can always hear their voices, especially on full moon nights." I was about to say something, but then I noticed a bricked-up archway in the corner of the room. The light from my flashlight hit it, revealing a metallic sheen peeking through the cracks in the bricks. That night, I had a strange dream. In it, I was dressed in a Victorian gown, standing in a circular ward. The patients lay in beds, their heads connected to peculiar copper devices, while a huge copper mirror in the center of the room reflected candlelight. I saw a blonde woman standing in front of the mirror. Her back seemed oddly familiar. When she turned around, I was shocked to see her face was the same as the one in the photo on the first page of the notebook. It was Margaret Weber. I suddenly woke up, drenched in sweat. Morning light filtered through the curtains, and the alarm clock beside my bed showed it was 6 o'clock. I tried to convince myself it was just a dream, but deep down, I knew some connection had been made. Over the next few days, I focused on my surveying work. But every time I passed by that brick wall, I felt a strange pull. Finally, I couldn't resist investigating it. "What used to be here?" I asked Thomas. The old man's hands trembled slightly. "That was the mirror room, at least it's what the nurses called it. It was sealed up in 1894. Related to the night Dr. Weber disappeared." Tell me more. They say that night 12 patients participated in her experiment. The next day, everyone discovered the ward was empty, except for that copper mirror, which was covered in strange symbols. The hospital, fearing a scandal, sealed off the entire room. I returned to the archive room and carefully read through Margaret's journal. As the dates progressed, her handwriting became increasingly erratic. May 20th, the experiment has produced unexpected effects. The patients not only share dreams, but can also see each other's memories. Some memories are dark and filled with pain. June 3rd, the copper mirror has started showing anomalies. On the night of the full moon, images from another dimension appear. There are beings there beyond our understanding. June 15th, I've finally understood. This is not just a therapeutic device, but a door to the world of dreams. The last page was written on the eve of her disappearance. Tomorrow night is the full moon, and my last chance. If the experiment fails, may God save my soul. That night, I dreamed of Margaret again. This time she spoke to me directly. You must complete it, Anna. We've been trapped here too long. What do you mean? You know, you've always known. Why are you so fascinated by this project? Why have you been plagued by nightmares since childhood? Our souls are connected. I woke up to find myself standing in the basement, holding Margaret's journal in my hand. Moonlight streamed through a ventilation window, casting light directly on that brick wall. Suddenly, I heard footsteps echoing throughout the building. The workers involved in the renovation project were walking towards the basement as if sleepwalking, their eyes vacant. I knew it was time to face the truth. It wasn't a coincidence that I was brought here. I was chosen to complete a mission that spanned nearly a century. Behind that wall, the copper mirror seemed to be the beginning of everything. It pulsed faintly. The workers had already gathered behind me, forming a strange semicircle. We need to open it, I heard myself say, though my voice seemed to come from far away. The workers began to move, as if guided by some force, methodically dismantling the brick wall. As the last brick was removed, a wave of stale air hit us. The legendary copper mirror finally revealed its true form. It was covered in mysterious symbols that looked like an ancient language or frenzied scribbles. But what captivated me the most was the reflection in the mirror. It wasn't our own, but another space, a world made up of fragments of dreams. Finally, Margaret's voice echoed in my mind. You know what to do next. I flipped to the last few pages of the journal and noticed details I had missed before. Margaret's experiment wasn't just for healing. She wanted to create a refuge for collective subconsciousness, a place where souls that couldn't find redemption in the real world could find peace. But what's the cost? I asked. There was no answer. The workers began to approach the mirror involuntarily, their eyes reflecting a strange light. I felt a powerful suction emanating from the mirror. Just then, Thomas burst into the room. Stop. You don't know what you're doing. I know exactly. I turned to him. You've been guarding this secret for years, haven't you? The old man nodded, trembling. I'm the only survivor of that night's experiment. The things on the other side of the mirror, they're not just dreams. But it was too late. The mirror's surface began to ripple like mercury. I saw countless faces emerging, some patients, some workers, and even my parents. So, this was the truth. The nightmares I had since childhood, those persistent hallucinations, they were all because I was connected to this mirror, to Margaret's experiment. You must make a choice. Margaret's voice rose again. Become the new dream guardian, or let everything return to nothing. I closed my eyes, feeling the power coursing through my blood. When I opened them again, I had made my decision. I choose to be the dream guardian. I declared firmly and clearly. At that moment, the copper mirror burst in a blinding light, and the air around it began to twist. The workers were pulled in one by one, as if tugged by invisible ropes, sucked into the mirror. I watched as their figures twisted and melted on the other side of the glass, eventually dissipating into points of light in a world made of dreams. No! Thomas tried to intervene, but his aged body couldn't fight the force. I grabbed his hand. "Tell me the truth, Thomas. You know much more than you've said." Tears welled in the old man's eyes. My father was Margaret's assistant. That night's experiment, she discovered the rules of the dream world. Each era needs a dream guardian, someone who can balance the existence between reality and dreams. But the cost is, the guardian must forever wander between the two worlds. Suddenly, a familiar figure emerged from the mirror, Margaret Weber. She looked just as she did in the photo, elegant and beautiful, but her eyes were filled with exhaustion. "It's been 100 years, she said softly. "I have guarded this passage too long. Anna, you didn't come here by chance. From the day you were born, you were destined to take my place." I felt a warm surge from within, as childhood nightmares that had once been inexplicable suddenly made sense. In those dreams, I always stood in front of a massive mirror, watching countless unfamiliar faces flit past me. But my parents' car accident, that was fate's arrangement, Margaret said. Only those who have experienced profound pain can understand and guard others' dreams. The fluctuations in the mirror grew more intense, and the whole room began to tremble. I knew there wasn't much time left. "Thomas," I turned to the old man, "your mission is complete. Leave this place and tell the outside world that this building is unsuitable for reconstruction. Let it remain as it is." The old man nodded and staggered out of the room. I walked towards the mirror. Margaret reached out her hand. "Are you ready? The path ahead is long. You will see the light and dark sides of humanity and feel the joy and pain of countless souls." I took her hand, feeling a strange power passing through. Behind me, the first rays of dawn shone through the vent window, and my consciousness began to merge with the world inside the mirror. In a trance, I saw my body become transparent, while Margaret's figure became clearer. It seemed like we were exchanging places. She would gain her freedom, and I would take over her duties. "What's your last piece of advice?" I asked before fully merging into the mirror world. "Always remember who you are," her voice faded away. "A dream guardian can see everyone's dreams, but it's easy to get lost in them. Remember your name, remember your past. That is the only way to stay lucid." Then everything blurred. I felt myself floating in an endless ocean of dreams, surrounded by countless twinkling lights, each one a person's dream. I could see their fears, joys, desires, and sorrows. Suddenly, I realized I could touch these dreams. With a gentle touch to a dream filled with fear, I could steer it towards a calmer direction. This was the power of a dream guardian, not to rule over dreams, but to guard and guide them. Time lost its meaning here. I watched day and night alternate on the mirror surface, saw people coming and going. Thomas kept his promise, and St. Mary's Hospital was eventually designated as a historical building, preserving its mysterious aura. Occasionally, I catch glimpses of the real world. Most people passing by don't notice anything unusual about the mirror, but a few sensitive souls stop, seemingly deep in thought as they look towards it. Margaret was right. It's a long journey. But every time I help a lost soul find their way, or guide someone trapped in a nightmare to wakefulness, I feel a deep sense of fulfillment. I am still Anna Morrison, an architect, an orphan who lost her parents. But now, I am also a dream guardian, standing at the crossroads of reality and dreams, protecting the most vulnerable and truest aspects of humanity. And that ancient copper mirror quietly stands in the basement of St. Mary's Hospital, waiting for the next soul who needs it. The story has come to a pause, my dear believers. I wonder if you're feeling a bit of a shiver right now. But remember, no matter how unsettling the tales may be, your priest is right here, guarding your dreams. So don't be afraid. Close your eyes and drift off to sleep peacefully. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you can join me every night. Good night, and may God bless you with sweet dreams.